So I'm in my 30s, and a few years ago, I learned about the term limerence. And I finally found a word to describe what I had been experiencing in my mind for my entire life. And it's like a light bulb finally went off, and I had language to express what I was experiencing. And it was both liberating, but yet very depressing. It's one of those things that can make you feel so much shame, especially when you don't know why you think a certain way and why you can't seem to stop. And for me, limerence was a way for me to escape. It was a coping mechanism so that I could create an ideal life within my head, because my external world was not ideal. And because limerence is such a new topic that is being researched, there's really not a lot of research about limerence. I'm not really sure why I developed limerence. I can't say for sure. I mean, it could be childhood emotional neglect, or I know I've read that limerence can also be a result of like neurodivergent patterns going on in your brain. Like if you have ADHD, it's a way to get like a dopamine hit. And I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but as I get older, I really suspect that I might have that, just because of the fact that I exhibit a lot of the symptoms of ADHD. But I don't know for sure. Limerence is a silent battle. And I can say it stole years of my life. And a lot of the mental struggles, mental illnesses that we deal with, we know how detrimental they are. They destroy our self-image and our confidence, and they keep us prisoners of ourselves. But people on the outside do not see that. They do not know what is going on in our heads. And I carried so much shame for so long about limerence because I would just obsess over certain people and scenarios in my mind. And I would always wonder, like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't I stop thinking about this? And I felt very lonely growing up because I felt very misunderstood. I felt like no one really wanted to hear what I had to say and my opinions and ideas. So I just learned to suppress everything, keep everything in. And in doing so, this is where limerence came in to the picture. You know, you create this fantasy world where everything is perfect because your outer world is not perfect. It's not ideal, which it never will be. But when you're feeling this void, this disconnection from other people in your life, it's a way to cope. And it created this loop of it's like ecstasy, where my thoughts literally would just give me this high that I could not get from any other source. Like, it was stronger than any drug that I could think of. I mean, the thoughts would just loop over and over again. And then there would be the crash. There would be the realization that this is not reality and this is not going to happen. But yet in your mind, you still go back to that because it gives this weird sense of comfort that your inner world can give you that your outer world cannot. And when I started to learn about what limerence was, I discovered that there were a lot of people that were experiencing this as well. And that did give me a sense of comfort, because it made me realize, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not a weirdo completely. And it finally, like I said, it gave me a name to put with what this phenomena was within myself. And as I spent time healing a lot of my childhood trauma, I struggled with limerence less and less. It became something that I didn't really struggle with, or I didn't really go to it for comfort, because I was finding better ways to cope with life. I was finding more healthy ways to deal with things. And I started to use less and less coping mechanisms because I didn't need them anymore. But it is such a battle within your mind. And I have also dealt with depression and anxiety throughout my life. So I think I want to say they kind of go hand in hand. They're kind of interconnected in a way. But like I said, I don't know for sure, because it's a fairly new topic that is being talked about. But as a person who has struggled with mental illness, it keeps you so bound. It keeps you a prisoner to your own mind. And it's so freeing to be able to talk about it and to find peace and freedom on the other side of this struggle. Because at one point I felt like that was going to be my entire life. I was going to be stuck in that loop of ruminating and obsessing. It's so unhealthy in so many ways. But talking about it, like trying to understand why I have done the things I've done, it helps so much. And it takes away a lot of the shame of going through Limerence. And I think one of the